Good afternoon. Welcome to your practice with me today here at our wonderful Tanya Yoga Studio. So today we're going to focus on trying to open up your chest, getting you breathing a little bit freer. So we're going to kind of think about that to start with. We're going to go through a few little movements to get your chest going, to get connected with your breath. Then we're going to do some slightly deeper chest openers to open the front, the sides and the back of your chest. And then after that, we're going to move on to some hamstring work to get your hips moving a little bit, to stretch a little bit through your hamstrings. Finally, we're going to do a little bit of core work, and then we'll see how the time's going. And if we still got some time, then maybe a few extra hamstring exercises up the wall. So I hope you're ready. You've got your blocks, you've got your bolsters, you've got your straps. And remember, the important thing that you want to do today is to breathe, is to open your chest, to try and disconnect from the things that are happening around you and let this become an internal practice. So, find yourself a seated position. You can sit on a block if you wish. You might want to sit on your bolster. You might want to have a block under your knee, anywhere that's sat and you're comfortable. If you happen to have a wall next to you, you could also sit with your back up the wall to give you an idea of that nice feeling of having a straight back. Do what works for you. Find something comfortable. So for now, I don't really want you to change anything about your breath. I just want you to breathe. I want you to be mindful and I want you to be aware, but try not to change anything. Just notice where the natural breath goes in your body. You might breathe into your ribs, you might breathe into your belly, you might breathe along your spine. You breathe how you'd breathe naturally, but pay attention, be aware. Take care to feel if your breath goes around the side of your body, goes between your shoulder blades. Try and notice if you have tension in your neck or in your shoulders. Swallow. Move your tongue within your mouth. Try not to grit your teeth. Relax the muscles in your face and just breathe. So now start to pay a little bit more attention into breathing deep into your belly and lifting your ribs. So I want you to place your hands just below your pectoral muscles around the side of your ribs, and I also want you to feel as if you breathe that you're trying to help to lift open your ribs. So you can imagine that you can wrap your hands under your ribs and you're helping to lift open. As you exhale, you feel how the chest lowers, how your lungs squash the air from your body. Try and imagine that your pelvic floor moves with your breath. Every inhale, your belly increases in size, your ribs lift, and you feel the space in your chest. At the peak of your inhalation, you should feel a slight stretch around your heart center. And as you exhale, the relaxation. So continue to move your body with your breath. Remember, you're relaxing your shoulders, you're relaxing your neck, you're relaxing the muscles in your face. If you feel like you have restrictions in your breath, maybe try and notice where you feel the restriction, where feels tight. And then as we go through this practice, we're going to try and find some tools to aid, to help to release those little areas of tightness. If you choose to practice Ujjayi breath, restricting the flow of breath through your throat, you can, but if not, just let the breath flow unrestricted. Breathe in and out through the nose throughout the practice. So this is our idea. We're grounding, we're centralizing, we're trying to focus all of our efforts, all of our attention to start with into the breath. Now we're going to start piece by piece to start to try and open our upper body, to try and make space in our ribs. So we're going to start by trying to open the front of our body. So I want you to have either 2 blocks or maybe your bolster, and you're going to place your blocks or your bolster behind you in kind of a T shape. So the idea is the straight one goes between your shoulder blades more or less, and the other block is just there so your head doesn't fall down too far. So you get yourself comfortable. You very slowly, very carefully start to lay yourselves back and try and feel that the block rests between your shoulder blades. You might need some adjustment, you might get it right first time, who knows, but I want you to be comfortable. I want you to feel that it's opening the front of your chest. Your arms and your hands can be on your ribs, can be down by your sides. Maybe you wish to have your hands up above you under your head to also help aid opening through your pectoral muscles. You go where you want to be. We're going to be here for about 2 minutes. So I just want you to breathe. I want you to try and focus your breath towards the front side of your body. So you can imagine every breath, your sternum lifts, the ribs spread away from the sternum just a tiny little bit every inhalation. You're trying to make space through the front of your body. Try and relax the muscles in your face, try and relax the muscles in your back body, and breathe. So now we're using the weight of our body to do the work. Try not to have your back engaged. Try and let the weight of your arms gently drop. If at any point during this exercise your knees become uncomfortable, you can straighten your legs, or you can have your feet up towards the sides and your knees point in, maybe not quite so comfortable on your lower back, but you do what you need to do with your legs. What I want you to feel is that you're opening through the front side of your chest. Remember that one of the principles of yoga is ahimsa. Ahimsa means no violence towards yourself or any other being, so be kind to yourselves. If anything hurts, if anything feels too much, then leave it for today. Find an alternative, find a variation. You know where you need to go, you know your body way better than I do, so you listen to your body. Remember that the breath flows unrestricted. You're trying to match the inhalation with the exhalation. Not only are we making space for our lungs in this position, opening the front of our ribs, we're also creating space for our heart. So very slowly, very carefully now bring your knees back up towards the center and slowly, calmly use the weight of your legs to help you come back up into a seated position. Any way that feels comfortable, try not to fall off the blocks, engage your core to help, and now we're going to come into a counter pose. So now what I want you to do is I want you to open your legs out towards the sides, make a little bit of space. Try and feel that your pelvis rolls forward. Again, if you really feel like you don't get any roll in your pelvis, you may wish to have a block just behind your lower back at the base of your spine, and that will help rotate your pelvis forwards. You also may want another block in front of you if you don't get so far, to maybe hold or to maybe have your hands or your elbows on wherever feels good. So now the idea is we try and open between our shoulder blades. So when you're tall and you're long, gently start to fold forwards. You may have your elbows on the block, you may want your head in your hands, you may want your thumb on your eyebrows, a very good position for stress. I want you to have your legs active. So you're trying to push your heels out towards the side. Think you're trying to take the backs of your knees down towards the floor. You don't have to work so hard in your spine. Your arms are there to try and help support a little bit of that weight. So what I want you to feel, more importantly in this pose, apart from the stretch in your legs and across the inside of your groin, is that you're breathing into your shoulder blades. You can imagine that your shoulder blades are at the back of your spine. They look, I'm not sure what they look like, maybe elephant's ears. Let's go for elephant's ears around the back of your ribs, and every time you breathe they move gently, they expand across your back, and every time you exhale they slowly come back towards together. So try and feel that movement of your shoulder blades. Every time you inhale, you almost try and feel how you're trying to rip your t-shirt in half behind you, and then as you exhale, the t-shirt gently, softly, slowly comes back to its normal shape. So you inhale and open, and you exhale and release. So similar to the previous pose, we're going to be here for almost 2 minutes or something similar. So breathe, you've got time, you can adjust. Try not to forget your legs, try and use that little bit of weight in your upper body. Again, you're using the block or you're not using the block, you're going wherever feels comfortable. You may feel more comfortable just with your hands in front. As long as you're getting a sensation of stretching your legs and you're trying to feel that you open the backs of your shoulders with every breath, I'm a very happy bunny. Nice and soft, nice and calm, slowly come back up towards the center. You may wish to have your block handy again, you may not. So now what we're going to try and do, we've opened the front and we've opened the back of our body, and now we're going to put a little bit more emphasis into the sides of our body. So you can gently bend your right knee and bring that right heel onto the inside of your groin. It might be more open, it might be further closed. If it feels really terrible, you can also choose to keep that leg straight, not a problem. But the important thing that I want you to feel is that you're gently trying to roll your chest to be in line with your left leg, and they're gently going to start to reach out towards the left hand side. So again, this is where the block comes in. If your elbow doesn't come down towards the floor, you might want that hand, that elbow on the block. I want you to reach your right arm up and reach and stretch through the outside of your body. If it becomes too much with your right arm up in the sky, you can let your elbow bend and hold the back of your head and gently start to reach that way. But remember, you're trying to imagine that you've got gills in the right hand side of your body. So imagine there's a gill between every single rib, and every time that you breathe, those gills open. You get a little bit more air into your body. You may need to keep adjusting, you might keep finding new space. So you're going to be stretching along the right side of your body, and I want you to feel the space in between your ribs. Even if holding your arm becomes the limiting factor, just let that arm come down towards the side, or let it come out in front of you and hold onto the other arm. As long as you're feeling the sensation of space and you're creating opening through the right side of your body, that's all we're trying to achieve here. Your breath is staying the same. You're inhaling and exhaling at the same speed. If you feel like you want to take it even further, you might feel that you can reach your toe or your left foot with your right hand, or maybe with a strap. You might get that little extra bit further, a little extra bit of opening. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and steady, nice and calm. Start to come back up towards the center. Release that right leg, open your right leg out towards the side, and now we're going to do the same thing but with the left leg. So gently bend your left knee as much or as little as feels good. You can have your block, you can not have your block, whatever feels practical for you today. Arm on the block, arm on the floor, but remember you're trying to align your body with your right leg, and we're trying to open through the left side of the chest. So you can have your arm up in the air for as long as that feels comfortable, and then if that becomes too much you can bend your elbow, and if that becomes too much you can lower your right arm in front of you. Remember, the focus is on your breath. You're trying to open through the left side of your body. Imagine. Hear those gills. Or you could imagine that a tiger has just clawed its way across the side of your chest. It's opened wounds, and now they open every time that you breathe. They look like your gills. You're opening through that side of your body. Gently try and keep the right hand side of your body long. We're not just collapsing. You're trying to keep engaged. You can also keep your right leg engaged. You're trying to push that right knee gently down towards the floor to help get that little bit of extra space, that little bit of extra length in your hamstring. If you wish to take it further, the same as on the other side, you might want to hold your foot or use your strap on your foot to reach behind you, to reach a little bit further. Remember, the importance is not the pose, the importance is how you breathe in the pose. So keep breathing. Nice and steady, nice and calm. Slowly start to bring yourselves back up towards the center. You feel long, you feel tall. Gently release that left leg. And now, long back. Release your shoulders. Roll your shoulders. Try and feel as you inhale, you lift your shoulders up towards your ears, and as you exhale, you roll your shoulders back. You inhale, roll up. You exhale, roll down. Now nice and slowly cross your legs, any comfortable seated position again, and we're just going to do a couple of little twists. So I want you to take your left hand onto your right knee, your right hand can go on the floor behind you, or you might want your block, might help you feel like you can keep your spine a little bit straighter, and then slow motion. Slowly start to turn. Use both of your arms to help try and keep your spine long. So you're trying to roll your right shoulder backwards as you gently pull your left shoulder forwards with the strength in your left arm. Remember, you're staying tall. Today we're all about the breath, so every inhale, grow, and as you exhale, twist just a tiny bit more. So you inhale and you grow, and as you exhale, you twist just that little extra bit. Inhale and grow. And as you exhale, last time, twist. Inhale, grow. And as you exhale, nice and slow motion, come back towards the center. So we change sides. Again, you've got the block option of the block if you wish. You try and keep your spine long. This time your right hand takes hold of your left knee. You can cross your legs in the opposite way just to make things a little bit more balanced. So now, inhale and grow. And as you exhale, turn out towards the left-hand side. You should feel the sensation around the edges of your chest, along your spine. Draw your left shoulder backwards as you rotate. Use your right arm to help slowly pull your right shoulder forward and get that twist. Keep growing on every inhale, and every exhale, twist an extra millimeter. Nice and calm, nice and soft. Slowly come back towards the center. You can move your blocks. and gently turn to sit square on your mat. So now we're going to put a little bit more attention into our hamstrings. So I gently want you to start to lay back. Make sure that you've got your strap somewhere convenient where you can take hold of your strap when we need. So here, just to prepare a little bit of our muscles before we get into the deep stretches, I want you to keep your left leg on the floor and strong. Increase the distance between your left heel and your left hip. Draw your right knee up towards your right shoulder and gently draw that knee in towards your shoulder. You might not get a big strong stretch, but you're warming up a little bit your psoas. You're feeling a little bit of that, maybe a slight bit of tension across the front of your hips. You can have your knee a little bit further out towards the side, or you can have it further towards the center of your body, whatever feels good. So now when you're here, what I want you to do is I want you to really engage your left leg and your right. So you're going to be super strong, you're going to be super engaged, and you're going to try not to let your right leg move. You take your right hand away and it stays in the same place. So really squeeze your hip flexors, you're squeezing your quadriceps, you're trying to feel the energy in your core, keeping your back down towards the floor. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice and slow, nice and calm. I want you to bend your left knee and place your left foot on the floor just behind your left glute. Now, with your strap or with your hand, whatever feels more practical or gives you a nicer sensation, slowly start to straighten that right leg up towards the sky. I want you to push your heel away. Remember, it's not all in the strap, it's not all in your arm, it's going where feels good for you. Today you might need the strap, tomorrow you might not. In 2 years' time you might not need the strap, in 10 years' time you might need the strap. So you do what feels good for you. But remember, you're pushing your right heel away. You're trying to straighten your knee, but not trying to hyperextend your knee. So now what I want you to do, you should be able to feel your lower back in the floor. Feeling your lower back in the floor, I gently want you to try and straighten your left leg, but do not move the right leg. So you gently straighten, still trying to keep your lower back engaged, so you keep that contact with the floor. When your left leg is fully on the mat, breathe. So now I want you to take your arm or your strap away and hold your leg there for just 2 breaths. Now hold either your calf, if that feels achievable, or just below your knee. You can hold either above or below the knee, but not right on the knee. And now gently what I want you to do is I want you to get a little bit of extra stretch. When you feel that you've got to your limit, pause. So now you're going to apply some resistance with your arms, but you're going to try and push your heel forward. So you're going to engage your hamstrings. So now hold that leg. Don't let your leg move, but try and turn on your hamstrings. So you're trying to push your right heel forwards and down to the floor. It doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10 of effort, no, only a 6. The most important thing is that you're feeling how your hamstrings engaged. So you're trying to push that right knee away from your shoulder. You're trying to push, you're engaging. Don't forget to breathe. For 3, 2, and 1. As you relax, try and feel if you get a little bit further. You might get a little bit of extra stretch. Now maybe you can hold the calf instead of the hamstring. You might even be somewhere you can hold the ankle. But remember that you're still working within your limits. I don't want you to hurt yourself. So now we're going to do that one more time. So what I want you to do is I want you to try and push your leg forward. Turn on your hamstrings. Keep trying to keep your right leg long. You're feeling the stretch behind the knee. You're feeling the stretch in the hamstring, maybe a little bit in your calves if you're drawing your toes towards your shin. But remember, you're engaging. You're trying to push that heel away. Like I said previously, it doesn't have to be a 10 out of 10 of effort, only a 6. All we need to do is get the muscles to contract a little bit, to engage. We don't need to get them to work to their absolute limit. So another 3 breaths. As you exhale, release the effort, and maybe you get another millimeter of stretch. Maybe you don't. 3, 2, and 1. Now take hold of your right foot or the strap with your left hand. Relax a little bit the leg, and now let your right foot come a little bit out towards the left, so it's somewhere on top of your left hip. We're not trying to take it down to the floor, we're trying to keep the right hip down on the mat. So you're just feeling the stretch a little bit more through the outside of the calf, through the back of the right knee. You're still engaged, you're still pushing your right heel away. Remember, trying to keep your hips square. We're not trying to take the foot down towards the floor, we're trying to engage the leg to get the stretch on the outside of the hamstring and the calf. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and calm, nice and gentle. Come back towards the center. Remove your hand or your strap and gently, softly bend your right knee. When your foot arrives at the floor, gently engage that right leg. You don't need to have to lift yourself off the mat, just push a little bit through that right leg. Imagine that you were going to lift your hips. Your hips might not lift, they might lift at just a few millimeters, but engage the muscles that you just stretched. So imagine that you are trying to lift your hips up to the same height as your knee. If that feels really good, you can also try and do it with a straight leg, which I know might feel quite tough today, but if you leave your left heel on the floor and help just a little bit with that left leg, it might feel a little bit more achievable. So we're going to go for another 5 repetitions. So 5, 4, moving with the breath, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly lower. Carefully straighten that right leg on the mat. Remind yourself why you're practicing the lesson today. What do you want to achieve? Give all of your positive attitude, all of your positive emotions towards what you're trying to achieve. Now we're going to bend the left leg. So I want you to hold that left shin or the top of your left knee. Remember, your leg can be a little bit more open, it can be more closed, whatever feels good. As long as you start to feel a little bit of sensation maybe in the top of your right leg, across the front of your left pelvis. But this isn't the really important thing that I want us to achieve in this pose. What I want us to achieve is the strength and that engagement to turn the muscles on to hold the leg in place. So now what I want you to do is I want you to squeeze both of your bum cheeks. I want you to hold your hip and your leg in place and then take your left hand away. So try not to let your left knee move. You're engaging the deep hip flexors. You're engaging the little tiny hip flexors that we don't normally get control of. So you're squeezing, you're holding everything in that one place. For 3, 2, and 1. Now slowly, same as we did on the other side, bend your right leg to place your right foot just on the mat behind your glute. And now with your strap or with your hand, slowly start to lift that left leg up towards the sky. Remember, your arm or the strap does not do all of the work. You're trying to push your heel away. You're trying to feel the stretch in the back of your left leg. Your core is engaged, your hips are square, your right leg is strong. And now super slow motion, super careful. Try not to let your left leg move and try to keep your lower back welded to the floor. As much as feels comfortable, slowly start to straighten your right leg. If your lower back comes off the floor, then keep that little bend in the knee. Engage the right leg. Don't just let the right leg be straight and laid on the floor. Push the heel away. Keep breathing. So start to get a feeling, start to get a sensation, breathe more into that sensation. The deeper you breathe, the deeper the sensation should go. Slow motion. We're going to take the hand or the strap away and we're going to hold that leg in place just for 2 breaths. And now, same as on the other side, hold your calf, hold your hamstring, just try not to hold right behind the knee. Now get that little bit of extra stretch, trying to keep your hips square. So once you've got your extra stretch, engage. Try and push your left knee away, trying to push your leg into your hands, but your arms resist the movement, so there's no actual movement in your leg, you're just feeling the contraction in your hamstrings, maybe a tiny little bit in your calf. You're not pushing 10 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Or 3, 2, and 1. Release, and maybe you get another couple of millimeters of stretch. Maybe your hamstrings, with the relaxation, allow that little bit of extra length. Now maybe you hold your leg at your calf, or you maybe even somewhere to hold your toe. But wherever you are, keep stretching. Try not to lose any of that good ground that you made. Try not to lose any of that flexibility, any of that stretch, any of that distance that you achieved. So now one more time, try and push your left leg forwards. So you feel that your leg is pushing into your hands, your arms resist the movement, so there's actually no movement in your leg, you're just activating those muscles. Three, 2, and 1. Release. Maybe you get an extra few millimeters. Hold, enjoy the stretch. Now there's a good chance that this left leg might be starting to get a little bit tired, but it should feel quite nice. It should feel like a bit of relief to take hold of that foot now with your right hand, with the strap or without the strap, and now trying to keep your leg straight, gently bring that right foot over on top of the right hip. Remember that you're not trying to take your leg down towards the floor. You're trying to keep your left hip on the mat to feel the stretch in the outside of the calf, feel the outside of your knee. You're still trying to straighten that left leg. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and calm release, come back towards the center, take away that strap. Gently bend your left leg and place your left foot on the floor in line with your right knee. So again, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to start to engage the hamstrings. You don't even have to lift your hips or your leg off the floor. What I want you to try and do is just push your leg through the floor to really feel like your muscle engages. If you do lift a little bit, that's cool, but we're going to do it with some very soft pulses. So now with your breath, we're going to inhale and lift for 1. Exhale and lower. Inhale and lift for 2. 3. 4. And 5. And lower. Straighten both of your legs. Allow your feet to move outwards and inwards. You can gently roll a little bit of weight across your calves. Allow your heels to release some circles in your toes. Anything that feels nice for your knees and for your legs. So now nice and calm, nice and soft. With the weight of your legs in any way that feels good for you, you can start to come up towards a seated position. There really is no rush. Take your time. So now nice and slow, we're going to start to get ourselves ready for a little bit of core work. So you need to do what feels good for you, what feels right for you. So we're going to start in a half laying position. If it feels uncomfortable to lay and keep your back up on your elbows, you can also maybe have the block or the bolster under your lower back. But if you can do it without your bolster or your block, I would definitely recommend it. So I want your elbows to be under and I want you to feel like you're rolling through your chest. What I don't want you to do is feel like your lower back is down on the floor. I want you to feel like you're trying to keep your back straight. So now you're going to be looking towards your feet and you're rolling your chest open. So we're gently going to start to lift the right leg on an inhale. And as you exhale, you're gently going to lower the right leg. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, lower. If this is too much, you can do it with a bent leg. Or with that straight leg. So you're trying to find your range of motion. You're also pushing your heel away, so you're getting your stretch through the left hamstring. Remember, you're trying to keep the distance between your heel and your right hip. You're trying to be controlled, and you're trying not to lose that nice length along your spine. So you should feel your hip flexors and your quads are engaged. You're slowly moving your legs. So the next time that you lift your left foot up to the sky, pause. With your next inhale, lift your right leg, both legs up. Remember, you're still working hard to try not to lose your shape in the spine. So now we're going to do the work, but in negative. So now as you exhale, lower your right leg. As you inhale, lift. As you exhale, lower the left. Inhale, lift. Again, you can do this with bent legs if you wish, if it feels more achievable with bent legs. You can do it with bent legs. If not, try and keep your legs straight. Try and keep your core engaged. You're moving with your breath. You're trying to find the full range of motion, get the full extension of your leg. You're activating your quads. The heels don't touch the floor at any point. Remember, you can do straight legs or with that bend in your knees. Do what feels achievable for you today. So one more time, come up with the right, and now we're going to finish on a little bit more exciting with both legs. So take your legs down as low as you can without feeling like they're going to collapse. If they do feel like you're going to collapse, then come back up. So you're still trying to be strong through your lower spine, you're lowering and you're lifting. You're trying to be nice and engaged, you're feeling that your lower abdominal muscles are working, lifting nice and slow up towards and exhaling down below. So now nice and gentle, next time lower your heels back down towards the floor. Feel the relief. So now what I want you to do is I want you to roll your lower back down towards the floor so you have all of your spine on the mat. Gently bend your knees. So you can help with your hands, you can have your blocks by the side of you, might even give you an extra little bit of a help to lift. You can have your hands under your hips. I want you to try and do it with the strength of your hamstrings. So you're gently going to push the floor away with both of your heels and you're going to lift your buttocks up a little bit. Now if you do get your bum quite high, that's cool, you can bring your hands under your buttocks. So we're going to hold for 5 breaths. So you might have your arms on the floor, you might have your hands under your back, you might have your arms out towards the side, whatever helps to give you that sensation of stability, that sensation of effort and strength in your legs. And with your next exhalation, lower your glutes. So now we're going to combine it a little bit more with the breath and we're going to move. So you inhale and lift, exhale and lower. You can help with your hands if you need. Inhale and lift, exhale and lower. Trying to unroll off the floor, inhale and lift, exhale and lower. Inhale and lift, exhale and lower. One more time, inhale and lift, exhale and lower. Now what I want you to do is I want you to raise your legs up into the sky. If you feel that you want to have your tailbone lifted, you can bring your block or your bolster and just touch the lower edge of your sacrum under that block, or maybe give it a little bit of angle. I might give you something slightly more comfortable for your lower back. I want it to feel comfortable, I want it to feel good. You can have your legs a little bit wider or your legs together. So we're going to try and work the upper abdomen. So I want you to reach your hands above your shoulders. And now we're not going to try and reach towards the feet, we're going to try and reach the hands straight up. So I want you to engage and I want you to gently lift your shoulders off the mat. So you gently lift on an exhale and you lower on an inhale. Lift on an exhale, lower on an inhale. Lower on, lift on an inhale, exhale. Lower on an inhale. Try and feel how the lower edge of your ribs, they sew together, like you're trying to use the muscles just below your sternum, your upper abdominal muscles. Now, nice and gently, slowly release. Open your arms out towards the sides. Reach your hands over your head, interlink your thumbs. Get a little bit of length, a little bit of stretch, a little bit of relief in your fingers and your arms. And now, one more time, we're going to come up, but this time we're going to lift and we're going to hold. So think, we're trying to lift straight up. So first, lift your hands, draw your shoulders, then your head, and the upper back comes off the floor. Squeeze. Try and feel the engagement in the top of your abdominal muscles. You're pushing your heels up. You're trying to keep your legs long for 3, 2, and 1. Release. Arms out towards the side for a little bit of stability. So now what I want you to do is I want you to keep your legs straight, and I gently want you to open your legs out towards the side as much as feels comfortable. And then gently bring your legs back towards the center. So nice and slowly, not too much strain, not too much effort. I want you to bring your legs out towards the side and then up towards the ceiling. You can push through your heels or you can point your toes. What I want you to start to feel is that engagement in your adductors to open your legs and your abductors to open your legs and your adductors to bring your legs back together. This can also be done with your knees bent if it feels too much with your legs straight, but you're trying to feel that activation on the outside and on the inside of your hip. So nice and slow, bring your feet back down towards the floor. Put a little bit of weight through your feet so you can remove your block. And now with your hands either side of your glutes, I want you to gently, once again, last time, lift your feet off the floor. And now we're going to pedal just a little bit. So you're going to try and get the length in your hamstrings. You're going to try and feel the stretch in your hip flexors. And you're going to feel that your core is engaged. Try not to let a little arch form between your lower back and the mat. You're gently trying to circle and pedal your legs. Keep moving, keep pushing, stay long. For 3, 2, and 1. We're going to change direction. So now imagine you're riding your bike backwards. Try and keep your legs parallel. Your stomach is engaged to keep your lower back on the floor. 3, 2, and 1. Bring your feet back down towards the mat. Gently straighten your legs. Come up towards a seated position. Roll your shoulders. Try and feel that you're released in your upper body, in your back. And now nice and calm, bring yourself up towards a standing position. So I want you to have your feet at hip width. And I want you to feel now that when you take a pace back, you try and keep your feet separated at hip width. So your left leg steps back, your right leg stays straight. You might take 10 paces to get there, you might take 1 pace to get there, whatever, but just try and feel that your hips are square. Again, you may want your blocks either side of you as a little bit of support. So this is going to be a little bit of stretch of your hamstring and also a little bit of strength in your back, in your lower back. So the core of your back body. So your hips are nice and square. You're rolling your shoulders open. I want you to push the floor away with both legs, and I gently want you to start to fold forwards. Try to keep your spine long. Don't hyperextend your knee. Hands can be on the blocks. 1 breath. Now as you inhale with nice straight back, try and lift up. As you exhale, fold forwards. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, fold forward. Your hands can be on your hips to keep your hips nice and square. As you inhale, lift up. As you exhale, fold forwards. As you inhale, lift up. Last time, as you exhale, fold forwards, and this time we pause. So this time you've got time. You might want your hands on your blocks. Remember, you're trying not to hyperextend your right leg. You're trying to square your hips so you get that nice sensation of stretch through your right leg. Imagine there's something pulling your right leg backwards, your right hip backwards, and pushing your left hip forwards. So you're feeling that stability. You're feeling the engagement through your pelvic floor so that your left leg also stays rooted to the floor. For 3, 2, and 1. Now with your right hand stays on the block. Can be anywhere, any variation. Your hand might be on the floor even, or it might be on the block high, or it might be on the block in kind of like the middle setting. I want you to gently start to open your hips and adjust your back heel. Try and keep your right leg strong. Again, remember, you can have the block however that you like. You're trying to roll open through your chest, and your left hand can be either on your left hip or up towards the sky. For 3, 2, and 1. Nice and calm, nice and soft. Bring your hand back down towards the floor. Now put some stability in your blocks to allow yourself to step forwards with your left leg. And now gently start to unroll and stand tall. So same again on the other side. So nice square hips. And we're going to take a pace back with the right leg. Again, 1 step, 10 steps, 3 steps, 5 steps, doesn't matter. As long as you eventually get to a place where you've got your feet separated at hip width and you're trying to square your hips, that's what we're trying to achieve. So you're going to roll your shoulders back. Remember, your hands can help your hips or they can reach down towards the blocks, whatever feels good. The first time we come down and we hold for a breath. So you inhale and open your chest, and as you exhale, roll forwards. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Remember, you're trying to keep your spine straight. Inhale and lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale and lift. Exhale, roll forwards. Inhale and lift. Last time we're going to fold forward and we're going to hold. So this time bring your hands down towards your block to give you a little bit of comfort so you can make sure that you're really working. Drawing your left hip backwards, your right hip comes forwards, you're squaring the hips, you can look towards the floor, you can look towards your back heel, you can look a tiny little bit forwards. Keep trying to work to roll your pelvis to get that length through your left leg. You still feel weight in your right leg. Don't let all the weight come onto that left leg. Keep rotating through your pelvis, keep breathing, adjust the blocks if you start to feel more comfortable and you've got the space. For 3, 2, and 1. Now adjust your left block very slightly so it's a little bit closer to your foot, and then we're going to adjust that back heel. So now the heels are in line and your right foot is at almost 45 degrees. With a little bit of extra weight through your left arm, slowly start to roll open through your chest. Hand can come up, can be on your hip, but really what I want you to try and do is open through your chest. Feel that you're making space for your heart, you're making length along the right side of your body, your left side of your body stays long and you're breathing. 3, you can look towards the floor, you can look up. 2, and 1. Gently release, bring that right hand back down towards the block, and now nice and calm, step that back leg forwards. Take a moment, massage your knees. And now you can have the blocks a little bit further in front of you. With a tiny bend in your knees, we're going to come into a forward fold. So I really want you to start to feel the length in your hamstrings. If you want to have your feet wider, you can have your feet wider. If it gives you more space, you're trying to feel how your pelvis rolls. Try not to have any tension in your neck. If you don't need the blocks, you can remove the blocks and you can hug your elbows. Breathe. Super slow motion, super careful. With your hands on the floor, you can gently start to release your legs and come down into a seated position. So I would now recommend that you either go and lay next to the wall with your legs up the wall for 5 minutes with a blanket or a bolster under your lower back, or you might want to lay in Savasana, maybe the position where we started with the blocks under your chest and under your head, opening through your heart. I hope you enjoyed the practice. I hope this is what you were aiming for. Remember, try and breathe. Keep breathing. Open your heart every time that you breathe. Feel how your ribcage moves. Try not to have tension in your shoulders. Enjoy your relaxation. Namaste.